thing, which is desk-based, and also online, which is not about shop floor. It's about what's happening in the online market, and that channel is increasingly important because we also are responsible for the e-commerce directive, which governs that. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I think the members have fairly well put the questions, pardon me saying so, put you through your paces. Notwithstanding the reasons, I think it's probably just appropriate that your two bodies were the last two to conclude our hearings on this matter. After all, one is the Competition Authority as a National Consumer Register in the public to protect the public interest. This has now got a European dimension to it, and there's a response from the retailers who would want a voluntary effort at European level. So it's not just an issue that's confined to Ireland. I think there is still huge concerns that voluntary will not work. I think this is something that we've come to the conclusion of. From the point of view of the consumer and the supplier, it does seem odd that if we can accept that fair trade for products from the third world can be in the best interest of the supplier and the producer remotely in the third world, it can also be in the best interest of the consumer. So why can't we adopt the same approach to the domestic producer and the domestic processor? I think that should be the principle under which we try to operate a code. And if people are not prepared to sign up to it, and we've had the waters muddied about the expense and the logistics. We have family courts, we have small claim courts. We can actually have a pro forma form put in place for fair trade, for arrangements, and especially for dominant players with smaller suppliers. And indeed, as we heard from Retail Excellence Ireland, I think it was, for smaller retailers who are at the behest of the large suppliers who actually dominate so many products across a range of products in the grocery sector. So it is, in principle, simple, but there's one word that's getting in the way of it all, and that's greed. I mean, there are margins being taken by people who pretend otherwise, who pretend they're in the best interest of the consumer, but it is at somebody's expense. And Senator O'Brien outlined it. I know this from documentary evidence I've seen from people in the processing as opposed to the primary producer sector. When market supports come on, they are told that their product is being listed and they're told what it is going to cost, and at all times the margin is kept by the retailer. So there are issues out there, and it's not being addressed by the current legislation that's in place. And it's not in the best interest of the consumer. Deputy Barry highlighted the case when milk fell through the floor here, literally, and it still maintained the same price. And I know Ms. O'Leary said milk prices have gone up. There's a war going on at the moment, and the milk is a particular matter because there's an extra dynamic to it insofar as that so much of our product is being sourced north of the border, and there's a fear that in the event that becomes wanted on the island of Britain, for instance, that we will be left without fresh milk. An island that produces so much milk and dairy products to export will be left without a secure supply of fresh milk is a complete irony, and it just shouldn't be allowed to happen. So something is failing if that scenario were ever to arise. So we plan on foot of this meeting to establish a small working group of committee members from the various interest groups to prepare a report and hopefully to have it published by the end of September, if we can at all. I know it's a tight deadline given the August break here, but we do intend that if this competition bill, consumer and competition bill, when it comes before the floor of the houses here, will have the benefit of our findings on foot of our witnesses, submissions who came in here, and our own recommendations. So I'd like to thank everybody, members, all the witnesses who have come before us, but especially the Competition Authority and the National Consumer Agency here today. And I hope you appreciate what we're trying to do here is bring to the public, into the public domain. We cannot fight major multiples except not through PR campaigns, but we can actually lay bare the situation as we see it and what the facts that matter are, in spite of all the gloss that may be put on it at times. So that's what our effort is here. We're not trying to score points here, we're trying to expose them, because we are trying to protect the consumer, protect the processor and the primary producer at all stages. That's all we're about, and it's called fair trade, fair play. That's it. Okay, that's my rant. That concludes our hearings on the issue, and we hope to have a report in the end at the autumn. So, as there's no further business, the meeting stands adjourned until this Thursday, the 19th of July, at 9:30 a.m. Members. Joint committee, Senator. Thank you.